Hello, everyone. My name is Knostenbergs, and I'm co-founder at Master Packager. I believe that application management is getting more and more complex and expensive. And there's one thing we should focus to stop that. So let's dig in and see what it is. But first, let's start with something that hasn't changed for quite some time. And today, actually, I could use my last year's presentation. Last year, I talked about MSIX and the challenges this brings to us. And it's totally valid presentation today. However, there are things in application management that hasn't changed for decades. Good morning, and we have still applications that we need to repackage and package and find the configurations and to deploy them on our environments. How this is possible in 2023? You know, we started Master Packager software company and working on the software 8-9 years ago. And you know what I believed? I thought that after 5 years, no one will need this. Opposite happened. We got more and more customers every year. We grow like 200% every year. So what happened? And this is not only packaging is not the most of the complex things in our environments. It could be so complex, and things can happen. What happened to Maersk in 2017? You know what happened in Maersk in 2017? So they got a cyber attack, and it happened because of one compromised automatic application update, and it brought down whole IT infrastructure. Everything. In 6 minutes, you cannot turn on your computer. For those who don't know what Maersk is a shipping and logistics company that is responsible for 20% on world trade. And now, imagine these 1,000-ton ships in seas and cannot port because your applications do not work. You have these cranes holding these containers full with stuff, and you cannot operate them properly. You cannot call your colleague because your telephones doesn't work and you don't know the numbers. Only thing that you are left with is pen, paper, and everything you can remember. Luckily for them, they got a chance to recover from one offline environment and rebuild it from that. Otherwise, it was expensive for them, and it was almost they got bankrupt from this incident. So, application management can be and is expensive, and let's see just from example from packaging. So we know how much it costs to package one application version, right? In one company, we know all that. So either we package ourselves or we have outsource companies that does that. We know the price associated with that. But what we do not realize that the same application package must be packaged for a ton of other applications, companies. And the cost is huge if we look and visualize like this. The best presentation what I could find talking about this topic, and it was really hard to find anybody talking about this, by the way, was from PackageEvent 2013 by Chris Jackson. He was an architect at Microsoft. And what he shared with us, the data, was that 19,000 companies they had data with, in average, had 2,500 applications. where one application cost per year was $522. In combined, that is $2.5 billion doing rework. So I think we need to understand and remind ourselves, what is application management goal? What is the goal of application management? It is to do one thing: improve business operations, so that companies have a way to have a business that is so efficient and earn more money and spend less, right? But what I can see, being in this industry for quite some time, is that it's going just to be more expensive and more complex. We have more packaging types, we have more tools, we have more cases that we get to solve, and yeah. And really, when I think about this for myself, I really don't want my kids, when they grow up, to have a way to work in organizations where they want to use the latest and greatest software to do their best job, but IT would say, hey, we don't know how to package this application because the vendor doesn't have silent installation switches provided. Or wait, please wait 10 days while we figure out how to package this. I think we should solve this problem at this time. And again, remembering myself for decades working as an application packager as well and working on the software, this is what we all do. We solve problems, right? But when we think about solving problems, actually solving one problem creates another one. And let me give you an example. I have a problem. I'm hungry. What is the solution? Go and eat something, right? But that creates another problem. Now I have to think about, what should I want to eat? Like pizza, Chinese food? Should I maybe go and cook something at home? That's much harder problem to solve, right? Okay, I will choose pizza. But now, where should I go and eat this pizza? In which restaurant? One is too far, one is too expensive, and one I don't like to eat there, and so on. Then there is pizzas that I have to choose, and the price and all that. In application management space, we have a problem like we want to separate applications from Windows operating system. That's a problem, right? How can we solve this? AppV, MSIX, great. And now we have another problem. Developers don't want to use these formats. And how to fix that, that's a much harder problem. But don't worry, we know how to fix this. Let's repackage every single application to these new formats ourselves, because we know how to solve this. Okay, to do that, we need tools. And we know how to create tools, so we have new tools to create. Now we need the knowledge, because sometimes there are some limitations that can be fixed, and sometimes there are things that cannot be fixed, and we need to switch to other formats. Okay, now we have more advanced tools, but sometimes they come with a higher price. And now we are stuck with another problem that is much harder to fix, where to get the money, as it's getting more expensive. So now I'm thinking, maybe we have chosen the wrong problem-solving method. And let me tell you about 4 ways how to solve a problem. And the first one is just ignore it. It will go away. Like business requires, hey, we need this application to be installed. I want this application to be installed on my computers. Can IT please do that for me? And IT says like, oh, there's no silent options to install, there's no way how to configure. Sorry, business, choose another application. Valid way how to solve problem, totally. In some ways, just ignore it. Then there is problem resolution. And problem resolution looks on the past events and finds the good enough answer. In this example, it would be, I have experience in previous jobs that where I needed autoid scripting. So I will just automatically script that application, and during deployment, click next, next, add license key, and press finish. Yeah, I know it will not work maybe on all Windows operating system languages. Uninstallation, I really don't know how to create it, so it will not uninstall properly. But this will be good enough. It will just install, and business will be happy for some time. Totally valid way how to sometimes solve a problem. And then there is problem solution. And problem solution looks on the best way how to solve this problem in a most optimal way. So let's purchase or get application repackaging tool, repackage it. It will have a perfectly quality MSI, MSIX, or MSIX, and let's deliver it. It will always work. It will be configured. Business will like it. It will uninstall everything it installed. So the problem solution is the best way how to solve a problem, and that's absolutely false. The best way how to solve a problem is to dissolve the problem. How in the world you can solve a problem? So let me tell you a story that I once heard. So there was, in early days, a matchbook company, and they got a lot of legal cases every year that people burn their hands. So how do they burn hands? So when they strike the match on this matchbook, this spark ignites rest of the matches, and this is how they burn their hands. So the company realized how to did the obvious thing, how to solve this problem. They added fine print on the matchbook saying, close the cover before you strike it. And it did two things. First, it didn't remove the legal cases. And second one, people still ignored the message, of course. So the young man came in and said that, I know how to solve this problem, and it will cost exactly the same for you to make matchbooks as it's today. So tell us how much it is worth to you, and I will tell you the solution. And matchbook company said, hey, you tell us the solution, we will tell it how much it's worth to us. And he said, no, you tell me how much this problem is worth to you, and I will tell you the solution. So the matchbook company calculated how much it's worth to them, and they got to the number, and both parties agreed. So what is the solution for this problem? You redesign the system so the problem no longer exists by removing the striking strip to the back. And now it's not possible to strike the match and ignite the rest of the matches. So it all comes down to the system thinking. But first, we have to understand what is a system. So system is a whole that has a one defining function and has one or more parts. Human organism, defining function is to live. But system cannot be divided into separate parts, same as human organism. You have a heart, you have lungs, and we have brains. So heart cannot live, you can live. Brain cannot think, you can think. So hand cannot write, and you can write. Now when we understand that, let's look on application management system. And we clearly see we have two parts where defining function for the whole system is to manage applications, right? So applications themselves cannot do anything. They cannot magically appear to their endpoints. You need deployment solutions. And the deployment solutions alone cannot do anything without applications. They need applications. This is how I have noticed a lot of people look on application management system. But there's one part that is missing, and it is essential for application management system. Which part is missing here? No, but we will get there. Vendors. because applications cannot exist without software vendors. Now we need to understand why this application management system is poorly functioning. As a result, it's complicated and expensive. And this can be explained by how system performance is, how can we perform how good the system is. And system is performed not how each parts are performed individually, but how they are connected, how they fit together. And let me tell you an example for this. A car. Defining function for the car is to take person from the point A to point B. And it has multiple parts like engine, transmission, tires. So now let's imagine we purchase every car in the world and put in one warehouse and ask the best world's engineers to define which of the car has the best engine, best transmission, and best other parts. Now they start working and they decides that the best engine is for example for Rolls-Royce and the best transmission is for the Audi. And we ask them to disassemble these parts into separate parts. And we now ask them to put together, using these best parts, a car. What do we get? We do not get even a car for obvious reasons, because parts don't fit. And this is what happened in application management system. Applications that we get do not fit with deployment solutions. And this is why what we do. We create new solutions like packaging tools and other ways. And one of the reasons why almost everyone loves PowerShell App Deploy Toolkit, because it's an adapter between applications and deployment solutions. It makes these parts fit, but as any adapter, it's extra work in an extra part to take care of. So if we would remove that part, if we would not need that part, then the system would perform much, much better. So for complex and why application management is so complex and expensive is because of one reason. These are software vendors. We nailed it, right? So how do we fix this? Let's just ask them to create better software packages, right? Installers. That would work. And we tried, right? We asked Adobe, the biggest vendor, one of the biggest software vendors out there, hey, please add a silent options for this Adobe application and the way we can configure it. And you all know what the vendor applied shortly after. 2 years. Declined. It's not in the roadmap. But silent installation option shouldn't be in the roadmap in the first place. It should be created from the day one, right? So it shouldn't be there at the first. And so how can we change this? And now I start thinking, maybe we have missed something. Maybe the communication is on the fault. And I like one framework that is invented by Simon Sinek. It's called Golden Circle. And it's the way how you can inspire organizations and others to in what you do, actually. And this is how we actually have approached Master Packager from day one. And let me tell you how everyone usually talks about their products. They start with the what, the most understandable thing, and then go to maybe how, and then rarely maybe someone says why they exist and what they do. How do you feel if I would tell what Master Packager do if I start with what? Master Packager creates MSI and MST files in easy and intuitive way. But what if I change it from the why? We are here to make you master packager, and we create master software that is intuitive and saves you money. We allow you to edit MSI and MST files. And this is what is missing when we communicate with vendors. We say, hey, please do this. What should be done? We want that you add the silent installation. But I bet they do not realize what is the cost and for them to not doing this. What is the complexity it makes for a whole application management space. And this how expensive it gets. So we actually thought that we will fix this problem in early days when you start working with master packager. We was like, hold our beer. We will tell you how to do this. Like, we will create an application packaging software that is so affordable, so easy to use, and will do all the things automatically that this problem will go away. And you know, we kind of did it. Like, here is one review from Dan that is one of the smartest packagers I know. And if he chooses master packager, I'm pretty proud that we did something great. But we cannot pack all our knowledge into one software. So what did we do? We created courses where we teach how to deal with not only MSI and MST files, but with other deployment solutions. And then we got reviews from Harrison, like where he is a decade experienced IT professional, and he sees that we can improve his work. But we know that we cannot fix the whole application management issue, as we are focused on the consequences, not the source. So we thought, hey, we did a kind of great job, we did really great job with application packaging space. So what if we also focus on the source, that is application developers? And we created a master packager dev software. But before I tell you how it works, I first want to explain why it's important. So for those developers who understands the why they have to create great installer packages for their applications, there is challenges that comes in technical space. And we were one of these developers. We create master packager MSI. We didn't create it with master packager. So what we use Wix toolset. Wix toolset is actually a free open source solution that can create MSI files. But I couldn't imagine how complicated it is to create it and work with that. Because turns out you have to know how MSI works. You have to be application packager. But in early days, as an application packager myself, I started to understand what is going on like 6th month or something. So how can we expect developers to understand how MSIs work when the creating installers is the boring part for them? So there is other ways how to create great installers for developers. And free ones, you just drag and drop some source files into some software and it will build you an installer. But we know, we all know about these installers. We repackage them. So, of course, there are more advanced tools, but they are expensive. So this is what we can do, actually. We can try and fix these challenges for developers. So how do we do this? First, we completely redesign how this solution should look like from the scratch. And what we ended up was that we have a one project file. But this project file shouldn't be so complicated like, for example, for Wix, where you have to see all the components and features, and you need to understand how they come together. It should be that simple that any developer in the world knows what to put there in. And what every developer in the world knows, they know what is the metadata of their software, like name, version, manufacturer, and they know what kind of files they have, where they have it, and where they want to install them. What kind of shortcuts they want, what kind of registries want. This is what this is all we ask them to put in this project file. As this is just 2 weeks ago we launched this, we now have user interface, and now you have to use documentation or sample file to actually modify it. But it is still so easy as a story. You can read it and understand it. Later on, we will have a user interface where you don't even need the documentation. Similarly, like you shouldn't need documentation for master packager. When you have a project file that you run a simple command line, and that would give you, that you can automate and developers use in their build pipelines. And you get highest quality MSI and MSIX packages, depending on what you selected. And the coolest part is that we apply our knowledge in the software as much as we can. So you maybe have heard about Citrix Workspace app that recently, 2 months ago, switched from MSIX back to Win32 installers because of some limitations. My guess is because they didn't realize all the issues that it comes and for their applications with the new packaging format. So we want to prevent developers from having situations like this where they have to remove the code that generated that, communicate with the audience, and so on. So if we will detect some things that doesn't work in the specific packaging type, we will tell them about this. And it will not only do limitation detection, it will also teach how to build correct packages. So if developers will choose to install files in, I don't know, AppData, we will tell them, no, sorry. Choose another one then. If you want to do crazy stuff, do something, you will have to basically work harder to do that. We will not help you. So it all comes down to focusing on vendors and enabling them to create application packages that end users love, enterprises want to use them, and Windows operating system really needs. But of course, packaging software like Master Packager DAO can be tackling challenges that are technical. We still have missed the why and explaining developers why they need to change and what it will cost for everyone. You know, I have a new hobby this year, gardening. And as we know that to grow healthy and beautiful plants, flowers, and vegetables, we need to nurture them and cultivate them. But we cannot forget about weeding. As similarly, we shouldn't forget about these poor quality vendor-created installers. And what do we do with weeds? We take them one by one out. But sometimes it helps that we have some weed sprayer, and I think we just have created one. Thank you for listening, and see you at our booth. Yep.